welcome to men's action. If you tuned into the women's game, you were treated as the Mount Allison University Mounties came away with a 6-point victory in overtime. Right now we have the men's final hitting the top-seeded Holland College Hurricanes against the number 3 seed Crandall Chargers. And much like the women's matchup, the Mystics had one loss on the season, came at the hands of the Mounties. The Holland College Hurricanes also have one loss on the season, and it came at the hands of the Crandall Chargers. Josh Fleck here with you, Lars Moffat joining me in the booth. Lars, what can you tell us about these two teams so far this year?
Well, what can we say about Holland that already hasn't been said? Athletic team, can score deep, a lot of skilled players, and they are big. And they will come at you, and they will steal the ball, so you have to be very careful and protect it. Now, with the Crandall team, they've been very inconsistent throughout the season, had some great games, some not so much, but they found it down the stretch, where yesterday, in my mind, they smacked Mount Allison Mounties.
So we are getting the starting lineups in right now. Starting for the Crandall Chargers, number 5, Umburi Watson, also known as Mumba. Number 7, Rondell David, affectionately known as Trey. Number 9, Hassan Maidal. Number 10, ACAA Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-ACAA, and All-Canadian CCAA player Brandon Fields. And the big man, number 14, Mamen Hadrovich. The Holland College Hurricanes just announcing their starting lineup right now. Number 1, Michael Kaei. Following up him is the passionate big man himself. Number 7, Marcus Dawkins. Number 8, Roosevelt Wiley. Both those players were named first team All-ACAA. Another first team player right there, number 11, Jace Colley, also named Rookie of the Year.
And who had 33 points yesterday in their win.
And defensive stopper, number 15, Chase Bowden. So Lars, both these teams, a fairly good matchup. Both love to score the ball. And they're both very adept at doing so. Top scorer for the Chargers in the regular season, number 9, Hassan Maidal. Averaged 20.4 points per game. As a team, though, 4 players averaged above 15 points. And, of course, not to be outdone, Holland College counters with 3 players averaging above 15, but 6 averaging above 10.
And that's right. And we've talked about how deep this Holland College team is as we get underway. And if one thing that worked for Crandall yesterday is they played a lot of in-your-face basketball, made it very tough to get to the rim. And they have kind of a height issue here with it, as Holland is a very big team. Going forward, you're going to have to be very tough, stay in front, and be quick on your feet if you're Crandall.
Wiley with the first bucket as he fades away after battling in the post with Watson.
And Wiley was very quiet yesterday, but he is a first-team All-Star, and he's an animal, so you got to be careful with him.
There he is there, but he steps out of bounds off the turnover. And this Holland College team, a matchup nightmare for teams. Very quick, very athletic, and like you said, very, very tall from top to bottom.
And all their players can do it all. Each one can dribble the basketball 1 through 5 in regards to positions. Each can shoot the ball 1 through 5. They're very well-rounded, and that's why they're so tough to play.
And keep an eye on Brandon Fields. He is a fantasy stat stuffer. Maidal knocks it away. Watson can't come away with it. Kicks it to Maidal for 3. Little strong, but there's Watson on the boards. Very active player he is. Fields to Trey David. Can't get it to go.
And Trey David was a great player yesterday. A couple big threes. But watch out here for Brandon Fields as he's the glue to their team. Averaging almost a double-double in assists. take it to the rim.
And he has already had a triple-double in this tournament. Great find there by Kaei. Wiley can't come away with it. Fields spots Watson on the run. Goes right at Jace Colley. Spins, can't find Hadrovic. And here comes Wiley on the run, right at MBBALL, but he hands off to Kaei. Holland College out to a 4-0 lead. Like we said, Fields, no stranger to stuffing the stat sheet. Hadrovic spins, puts up the shot, rebounded by Colley. Gets it to Chase Bowden. Dawkins wants the ball in the wing. Gonna go right at MBBALL. And he does. Can't finish, but follows it up, and he's blocked by Watson. MBBALL comes away with it. Gets it to Fields. See if Crandall can get on the board. Fields right in, right at Dawkins. Contorts, can't finish. And Bowden with the rebound.
And what did we expect here? We expected a very fast-paced game, and that's exactly what we're seeing so far.
Kaei can't finish. Wiley with the rebound. Can't finish either. Hadrovic with the board. And here comes Fields into the front court. Crandall still waiting to get on the board. Stuck 4-0. 2.5 minutes into this opening quarter. Watson on the drive. Great dish to Hadrovic, but he's blocked by Wiley. And Bowden looking to push the tempo up to Colley. Goes right at MBBALL. Can't finish. Follows it up. There he is. Lots of contact this whole time. Finally a foul called. Colley will go to the line to shoot 2.
And that's another issue too that Crandall is going to have to be very disappointed about, and that's going to be their defensive rebounding. Holland loves to crash the glass, get offensive rebounds, and if you give them more and more possessions, they're going to keep finishing on them. So you got to use your body, regardless if you're slower or smaller. You be very physical and use the body control to keep them away from the net.
And we talked about Kate Gallant and her ability to finish around the rim. Chase Colley very similar in that aspect. Those long arms, he's no stranger to dipping in behind the backboard and reaching out and just flipping it up, finishing it off glass. So he is a matchup nightmare. Very tall, long player. MBBALL guarded by Bowden. And there it is. Crandall on the board.
Watch out for MBBALL. He can do it all. He's not really a huge three-point shooter, but he can take it outside and he can hit a 20-footer.
Very strong in the mid-range. Great defense there from Fields. He's no stranger to being praised for his defensive prowess. ACAA Defensive Player of the Year. Marcus Dawkins in, can't finish. MBBALL to Fields, up to Trey David. Right at Bowden, can't finish. Watson does. And like we mentioned before the game, both of these teams very, very dangerous in the open court.
And as we've talked, Crandall's the only team that has beaten this Holland College team in the first matchup of the season.
There's Colley aggressively in, Bowden on the follow, and he finishes, restoring the 4-point lead. MBBALL spins away from Dawkins, pulls up a 3, just long. There's Kaei pushing the tempo, goes right at Fields, can't finish. MBBALL with the board, Watson calling for it. Different page, Kaei will have an open slam, gives it to Wiley, and he finishes hard. Timeout called by head coach Jonathan Spirits, as he does not like what he has seen to start this game. Myers, what do you think of this start to the game? Is it what you expected?
Yeah, it's what I expected, and one thing I'm not, as I'm a UMBSJ guy, I'm very neutral in this game, but I would like to say that I'm not very happy with the way that Crandall's handled the ball so far. They've had a couple key turnovers, and one thing that we didn't really talk about in the keys to the game is you can't let Holland come on early and just thump you. And that's what they love to do. They love to just break it open in the first couple minutes. They're great at having a great first quarter. So in that case, if you're Crandall, you want to protect the ball, protect your possessions, have good possessions, and in that case, you can't be throwing away these ticky-tack passes. And, although, number 9 on, I saw MBBALL, sorry. He came down and he took a couple threes, and yes, he can hit those, but that's not what you want to start a game. You want to get in, get some rhythm, and they got to keep taking it to the basket. You want to get this Holland College in foul trouble because they love to jump, so get into the paint, fake, let them jump, and go in and receive the contact, go to the line.
And this is a similar start to yesterday's game that Crandall played when they faced the Mount Allison University Mounties, higher ranked. Crandall ended up winning the game. But what they used in that game was a heavy spark off the bench, led by none other than number 6, Josh Boekma.
And also, an honorable mention too to Maxwell as well. Both came out. Maxwell's number 8 for Crandall Chargers. They both came out, hit some big threes, but played great defense. And they did the little things to help their team win.
So we'll see when Jonathan Spirits goes to his bench. David, open, gets it to MBBALL, who drives the lane. Bowden rejects it hard. Wiley again into the open court. And he gets fouled hard by Watson. But Watson was bumped by Jace Colley. A little bit of incidental contact on that one. Hopefully Wiley's okay.
I don't think there was very many things that could take Wiley down, regardless if he's a big man.
And I don't agree with this call being made right now. As Umbori Watson was bumped by a Holland College player. Certainly was not intentional to the degree that the foul actually was, but as we see Dan Maxwell into the game now.
And that's the second on Umbori Watson, so he's got to be careful. And he's going to have to sit until well into the second quarter. So the Crandall coaching staff's going to have to make some adjustments, and that means that Crandall's going to have to go small for a bit.
Wiley good on his second attempt after missing the first. Holland College out to a 7-point lead. They get the ball at half as well after that because of the foul. Mike Kaye for the Hurricanes. Met there by Maxwell. Bowden down low to Dawkins. Size mismatch there, and he finishes off the glass.
That's something that we talked about. Holland has to utilize that matchup. They're a very much bigger team, much longer team.
Well, I was just about to mention, I believe everybody on the court right now for Holland College is above 6 feet.
And I would say above, probably well above 6'1" or 6'2".
I believe the only one who might be on the fringe is Mike Kaye, and he is a big man in his own right.
Yeah, and he's got some size on him too. And we have a substitution coming in the game.
Jalen King, number 10 for Holland College.
Jace Colley will take a seat.
David over Bowden. Can't finish. Hadrovich and MBBALL in there. MBBALL battling. Lots of contact. Finally a foul call.
And that's what I say, when you get them in the air, get them with a fake, they're all going to jump. And the thing with them is that's very tough is they all have great timing when it comes to blocking, and they will wait for one person to fake, and then while the other person's in the air and you're going up, they're going to come and swat you again. So you need to be very strong when you're going in with that basketball as well, and take the contact. Don't be afraid to take contact, especially against this team. You will get the call.
Grant Calvert finishes on the first. Second one can't go. Hurricanes into the front court. Kyle Lefebvre now over to King. Over to Dawkins. Back to Lefebvre. And low to Bowden. Good hand there by Rondell David. King on the drive. Dawkins for 3. Spills out. Fields comes away with the ball. Up to David. Goes right at Lefebvre, and that's a foul called there.
Great job by David. Once he made that contested shot, he might have got away with a little bit of a 3-point foul, but he was great. Just running the lane, getting out, and it was easy for Fields just to find him, and great job for him to go to the rim.
David to the line now. Dependable scorer for this Chargers team, averaging 15.2 points per game, good for 4th on the unit. Averaging 81% from the free throw line. And the Holland College fans letting him know about it. Good on the second. 7-point Hurricanes lead now. Lefebvre across the timeline. Gets it over to King, met by Maxwell. Down low to Wiley. King for 3. Off the front of the rim. Dawkins follows. Wiley there as well. Last touch by the Hurricanes.
And that's what we talked about. Holland College getting second, third, and fourth attempts. If you're Crandall, you got to just keep boxing out. Can't let those happen. Those will hurt you later on.
Fields now for the Chargers. Controlling the play. Met there by Dawkins. High screen by MBBALL. Maxwell gets past King. Pulls up.
That's a tough shot there.
Just a little strong. Wiley with a strong rebound. He can certainly get on up, as we have seen him sky for a huge dunk to start this game. King with the blow pass. Lefebvre walked. Calvert will inbound from the sideline, gets into Fields. The floor general for the Chargers gets into David, launches a three. Quick response there from Rondell David. And if you're the Hurricanes, you have to watch out for Rondell David, because when he heats up,
he gets going.
Just like a hibachi grill. Also, there's no shot that I haven't seen him attempt. Upwards of 10 attempts from downtown a game. King looking to answer. Little strong, rebounded by Fields. Up to David, pulls up again. Just a little strong. MBBALL there for the rebound, stripped by Lefebvre. Hurricanes with numbers. Dawkins off the rim, and the foul.
So that's something that, great job by Trey David with the deep three, but one thing that you really might not notice on camera is how quick his release is. He's great at squaring up for the basket and shooting that ball ridiculously quick. He's got a great stroke, so if you're Holland, you really gotta stay around.
And there's that spark plug we talked about earlier. Josh Bokma off the bench now for the Chargers. Dynamite game yesterday for the Crandall team. Was named player of the game as well. Dawkins converts the three-point play, restoring the 7-point Hurricanes lead. Fields now for the Chargers. Using the Calvert screen. Gets it across to Maxwell. Trying to lose King, backing him down. Spots Bokma down low, blocked by Colley. Colley gets it across half. Wiley in the corner. King, Lefebvre from downtown. Just a little strong. Great rebound there from Calvert. Fields into the open court now, and he travels. Laughs with Rondell as Trey was open on the sideline, and
they're both smiling there. They both know that was just
a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's all right. And I'm very surprised that I haven't seen Brandon Fields kind of take it to the rim, because in the win that they did have, he had 30-plus points, and he's a big spark for this team. He can finish at the rim very well, very good at getting to the rim and using his body, absorbing contact and finishing.
Connor Tarian now into the game, and there is Josh Bokma with that defensive presence we talked about earlier, stepping in, sacrificing his body, and taking the charge.
And hey, that's a sneaky move. Jace Collier, while he's making that spin, can't see the move, and just step in, take that charge.
And that's one thing that Colley is prone to do. Very aggressive when going to the rim. At times can lose his placement, as we have an offensive foul called, a moving screen on Bokma. Bokma, local to Truro, Shubenacadie to be exact, has a large following here as Wiley goes right at him. Met at the apex by Calvert. David into the open court, right through his hands. Inches away.
And that's a good idea. Just not a great pass.
Chase Bowden now coming back into the game as the Twin Towers for the Hurricanes are down low. King gets it across the timeline, loses Maxwell. Little wild with the handle, knocked away by Fields. Easy dish to Bowden, who kisses it off glass. Fields goes right at Dawkins, gives it to Calvert, can't finish. Bowden now pushes it up, Jace Colley. Kicks it to King in the corner. Right past Bokma up top. Can't finish. Colley follows. And Bowden finally puts it home. And it's the offensive rebounds right now for the Hurricanes that have pushed their lead to 11.
And isn't it easy when you can have 3 or 4 players that can just go up right and tap it at the rim? Like I said, you've got to box out and you've got to use your body.
Fields pulls up from mid-range, spills out, and that's certainly not his game. Dawkins up top to Colley. He'll go in for the easy reverse dunk. Showtime from the Hurricanes. 20 seconds left. 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock as Maxwell slows the pace, looking for the final shot. And if you're the Chargers, you have to worry about the leak out from some of the Crandall Hurricanes as Maxwell steps back just a little long. Bowden gets it up to Connor Therrien. Good if it goes off the front of the rim.
And that's an excellent quarter for Holland College. They didn't really finish on a lot of their shots underneath the basket, and that's kind of why this team's averaging like 25 to 30 points in the first quarter. And this is kind of a little bit lower than what they're used to, and that's just because they haven't been able to finish. Now if you're Crandall, you're down 13 after the first quarter. There's no worries here. In most of the games that Crandall has been in, they've usually been down in the first quarter, especially in the game that they beat Holland College. They were down by 7 going after the first.
13-point swing on either way is something that is not unfamiliar to either of these teams as they both can score in bunches. But going against the number 2 team in the country, Crandall Chargers can't be pleased with how that first quarter
absolutely
went
not.
for them.
And I think a lot of it came on the offensive end, a lot of missed opportunities, and Brandon Fields had a turnover, a couple bad passes that went out of bounds. You know, even if you make 1 or 2 of those, maybe it's a 9-point game. You know, if you're Crandall, you just got to be very disciplined on the offensive end and take it to the rim. Get inside and look for other looks out, and that'll get other things open outside.
Small things like boxing out is
a big thing as well.
The Holland College Hurricanes dominated the glass with 6 offensive rebounds. Leading the way, Chase Bowden had 6 points, but as a collective unit, 6, 5, 5, and 4 from 4 of the starters for the Hurricanes. Countering for the Chargers was Trey David with 4 points. Hassan Maidal and Rory Watson had 2 apiece, and what was a very underwhelming first quarter for the Chargers.
But hey, don't count them out. They've beat this team before. They showed yesterday as the underdog that they can compete.
And with that being said, with a quarter like that, there's nowhere to go but up from there. So
that's
expect better things from the Crandall University Chargers in this second quarter.
Another notable thing to watch too as well, and Rory Watson is back in the game. He has 2 fouls, so he has to be very careful as well. And if he got his 3rd, he's going to be sitting for the rest of the quarter.
Watson triggers it to Fields, who gets it over to Maidal. Hadrovich on the wing, gets it to Watson. Fouled there by Dawkins. And by Dawkins' reaction, I don't think he's ever committed a foul in a game.
Guess not.
Watson will get the ball on the sideline.
And something that a lot of players don't realize is if it looks like a foul, the ref is going to call it. And that's what, it's all subjective, and that's just how basketball works. And if you're slapping down, it's a very clear call for the ref.
Steal by Colley, and he's off to the races, right down the lane. And he finishes at the rim. What a dynamic player the Hurricanes have found in Jace Colley. First-year player, as we mentioned before, earlier this weekend. He was named Rookie of the Year for the ACAA. Maidal spotted down low, wide open under the basket.
Nice pass by Brandon Fields. Used his eyes to look elsewhere. All the Holland College moved forward. A nice little piss pass right through the middle.
Mike Kaye up top for the Hurricanes, calling for double screens from Bowden, and Kaye free for a 3-point attempt, and it is good. Rondell David goes to the rim, and he's fouled by Kaye. Thought he got all ball on that one. David will go to line to shoot 2. David can't get the first to fall as he has struggled from the line today. Takes a breath, steps up again, looking to pull within 15. Good on the second. David meets Kaei at the half-court mark. Hadrovich steps out. MBBALL steps into the passing lane. And he goes right at Bowden. Can't finish on the reverse. Watson with the board. He can't finish either. Knocked out. Dawkins on the leak. And he finishes with the reverse of his own. Dunk contest breaking out here in Truro, Nova Scotia.
Looking like the NBA All-Star game.
Waiting for a Charger participant in this dunk contest. Fields finishes through contact. What a great finish from Brandon Fields.
Not to mention with the left hand, highly contested. Great move by the veteran from Crandall.
He cuts in the middle, uses the Collie screen again, pulls up for three. Just a little strong. MBBALL comes away with the rebound. Fields eyes up the whole time, spins off Tarian, spots Watson down low, pulls up, jumper from the baseline, strong. And there's MBBALL. And the Chargers are just struggling to finish down low. MBBALL gets called for the foul, but we might have a jump ball instead. We do have a jump ball. Possession arrow going with the Chargers. Roosevelt Wiley back into the game for the Hurricanes. Sorry, the possession arrow going in favor of the Hurricanes. Maybe. Full court pressure shown here from Trey David. Fields waiting Dawkins. Dawkins and Tarian will be the primary ball handlers. This is a rather large lineup now for the Hurricanes. Collie right at Hadrovich, and a late foul call. But again, we go back to the ability of Jace Collie to get to the rim and get his shot off regardless of where he is in relation to the defender, Lars.
Well, you know, there's really no game plan on how you can guard Jace Collie because he can do it all. He can dribble, he's got a nice handle, and frankly, his size just makes it so much easier. Every dribble that he takes is 7 or 8 feet that he's going towards the basket. Sorry, 7 or 8 meters more as like that he's going to the basket. So, you know, if you're guarding him, you need to watch more or less and try and make a poke pass or trying to tip it away, especially when he dribbles because he likes to keep his hands down and eyes down.
Dan Maxwell now coming into the game for the Chargers, giving Rondell David a breather. Hadrovich will inbound to Fields. See what Crandall can do on this offensive possession. Maxwell on the wing, gets to the MBBALL up top. Fields uses the MBBALL screen. Bowden knocks it away. And the two big men on the fast break, knocked away by Fields. Watson into the front court, spots Maxwell open for three. Off the rim, MBBALL with the rebound, knocked away by Wiley. And once again, Dawkins talking to the officials.
And he's got to be careful too as well.
This Hurricanes team always seems to have something to say to the officials.
You don't want
see how short of a leash they have for the game.
You don't want to give out momentum by just having, you know, giving the team an extra free throw, put an extra point on the board, especially in the finals.
Dawkins meets Fields at the apex. 3 seconds. Maxwell's going to have to rush. Couldn't find the handle, though. Turnover will go to the Hurricanes, up 16 with 6:51 left in the second quarter. Dawkins gets it, and he'll be met by Maxwell. Bowden on the wing. Spots Roosevelt Wiley. Gets it to Jace Collie. Connor Tarian down to Bowden. Uses the Wiley screen. Back down low to Wiley. Out to Dawkins for three. It is good.
Good job by Holland to work inside out.
Watson over Bowden. What a finish from Mbori Watson. Dawkins up to Colley. Colley working on Hadrovich, pulls up mid-range, just a little long. MBBALL into the open court, doesn't have numbers. Gets it to Watson. Goes past Dawkins, spots Fields, right into the body of Colley. Can't get the call. Dawkins gets it up to Wiley. And the Hurricanes are out and running. Bowden, right into the lane, spots Connor Therrien for three. And it is good.
And that is now a 20-point lead for Holland College.
Who on this Hurricanes team can't score? Connor Therrien, fourth-year guard from London, Ontario. Fields dribble handoff from MBBALL. Maxwell working Therrien. Can't get the shot to fall, and if Dan Maxwell can't get going, that'll spell some trouble for the Holland College Hurricanes. Chase Colley flies in for another dunk, and this game is quickly getting out of hand for the Chargers.
And hey, that's what good teams do. They take your bad shots that you take, and they make you pay for it. And frankly, it's been very hard for Crandall to really get anything going offensively. They've had to take some tough pull-up jumpers that really haven't resulted in any baskets. But what Holland College is doing is when they get that rebound, they're gone. Every possession, they always have someone running, and it's Crandall's not always getting back, and that's why they've resulted in a couple wide-open dunks.
And as much as we praise the Hurricanes for their ability to score the basketball, they are getting it done defensively, as halfway through the second quarter, they have held the Crandall Chargers to 16 points. This is a Crandall team that averages just under 96 a game. See what sort of adjustments Coach Spirits has. And if you're head coach Josh Whitty of the Hurricanes, you have to be very pleased with how this game has gone so far.
Absolutely, but at the same time, this is a championship game. This is who you're playing. You're playing a comeback team who could come back and has beat you before. Put the foot on their throat and cut this game now. You're up 22, but hey, there's 25 more minutes of basketball to be played. Keep going, pedal to the metal.
And like we have mentioned before, it's not unheard of for this Crandall team to get hot and score in bunches, so we'll see if what they do can maybe stop a run. Maxwell looking to inbound the ball. 6 players on the court for the Chargers. Interesting strategy, Lars. Doesn't pan out for them, but Hadrovich will take a seat. Dan Maxwell on the wing, met by Antonio Castekas. Rondell David. Roosevelt Wiley kicks it in. Knocked out of bounds, though. Tough to hear the whistle. Fields on the baseline. Gets it into Hassan MBBALL. Watson up top. Trying to shake Chase Colley. Goes right at him. Can't finish. Bowden with the rebound. But how athletic is this Hurricanes team, Lars?
We've said it before, we'll say it again. The wingspan on all of these players are so large, so tall, so strong.
Wiley, great patience down low.
And Wiley's been very quiet throughout these last 2 games in the ACAA Championships, but he can get going too as well, and he's a very complete player. He's been around this league for several years now, and he's a huge threat.
Maxwell long on that shot. Inadvertent buzzer. Not sure what the buzzer was for. But it certainly drew a halt to the play, and head official scolding the young officials on the sideline. Watson will now trigger. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. He's got Fields. Fields met there by Kyle Lefebvre. MBBALL working on Bowden. A great defender Bowden is. And as I say that, he knocks the ball out of bounds. Chargers will have 4 seconds. Fields pulls up from the corner. And that's a tough matchup for Rondell David. As Roosevelt Wiley spins off and finishes with the foul. I'm not sure how I feel about that continuation, but
the referee was saying to Trey David that he grabbed the ball, and that's what a continuation is. If you have the ball grabbed while you're getting fouled and still take the 2 steps to go for layup, that's considered continuation. That's what his case was, and Ronald David didn't agree with that one there.
Shitty Mayock into the game now for the Hurricanes. Maxwell comes off the screen. David up top from well downtown, and he gets it to go. Is there anywhere on the court when Rondell David isn't in range?
I guess not. Like we've said, the man can shoot.
And let's see if that gives some life. Wiley going to work on Watson. Kostakis drives in the lane. Calmly puts it up with the right hand. Last touch by Jace Colley. Watson to Fields, head up the whole way. Up court to Maxwell. Shakes Kostakis. And he puts it in and out. Mayock and MBBALL get tangled up. Let's see what the call is going to be here. And it'll be Mayock on the hold. Crandall will get possession back. And Dan Maxwell struggled to find his stroke. But beware if he does, he's a very dangerous player.
And when he's taking shots right now, it looks like he's just a little bit too rushed, a little bit off balance too, kind of taking them in a forward motion, which is not really what he does.
Great fake there by David. Puts up a shot, long rebound by Watson. MBBALL gets it. David loses Wiley. Great extra pass. Great ball movement here by the Chargers. And David again finishes. Wiley goes baseline on Watson. Finishes just a little too strong. Clears space.
Wow, nice move there.
Great strength there. David into the open court. Goes right out the fave, pulls up, and he gets it to go. Look out! Rondell David's heating up.
Just like that, Rondell David, 8 straight points, is bringing this Crandall team, giving them some life.
And if this was NBA Jam, he'd be able to dunk it from half on his next possession. Hurricanes slowing the pace down. LaFave on the wing. Spots Mayock down low. Slips defenders. Can't get it to fall. Fields into the open court now. Up to David, heat check. Off the mark. Fields comes away with it. Spots Watson. Great pass. And look out. This Crandall Chargers team making a run.
And we saw this yesterday with MSVU. They just started getting some great defensive stops, getting a couple breaks, and made some buckets.
And we'll see if Josh Whitty will call a timeout here, see how this possession ends up. Great cut there by Wiley, and he finishes up top. Watson will inbound to Fields. And this slow half-court offense hasn't really been that effective for the Chargers so far, so. And there's Wiley. He'll go in. Great foul there by Maxwell. And they're going to give Wiley 2 shots. That is another call that I do not really agree with. As this Chargers fan base is letting the officiating crew know that they disagree with that call. Wiley to the line. Good on the first, nothing but net. Wiley shooting 65% from the free throw line in the regular season. Step up for his second. Good as well. Fields now for the Chargers. Dawkins on Trey David. Trey been very good for the Chargers. MBBALL goes right at Wiley. Too strong. Watson comes away with it. Pulls it back out. Looking to go at Colley. And he will go to the line after getting fouled by Colley.
Great job by Boyer Watson just to stay on the boards.
Very active player for the Chargers, one of the more athletic players that they have.
And I got to give honorable mention too to Hassan Maidal. He's been a great underneath the boards as well, especially on the offensive glass. He's been struggling a little bit, just finishing around the rim, and I think he'll find that touch later on in the second half. But on the defensive end, Crandall needs to continue to rebound better.
Watson can't finish the second. Wiley away with the rebound. Up to Jalen King. Chargers showing zone defense. Great hand there by Brandon Fields. Colley looked like he walked, gets away with it. Great pass to Dawkins in the corner. Can't finish, and Colley gets called for an over-the-back foul. And once again, Colley incensed with the officiating.
And that's going to be his third.
Will put Brandon Fields on the line.
As long as Crandall can box out here or make a stop, they will still have another possession as well with 9 seconds roughly. 9 to 10 seconds left to get a shot off in the last possession.
Fields can't drop the first. Dawkins urging the Holland College faithful to get louder. Second spills out. Watson fighting for the rebound. And Wiley knifes through the defense. Great hand there by Dan Maxwell. Last touch by Maxwell though. It'll stay with the Hurricanes.
There's a 9-second difference between the shot clock and game clock.
We have a timeout by Josh Whitty. His team holding a 20-point lead. As it has been good to see a sign of life from the Crandall Chargers in the second quarter, but no matter what they do, it always seems that the Hurricanes have an answer. "26 seconds left in this first half that has seen some Showtime dunks from the Hurricanes. Displaying their incredible athleticism. Some reverses, still waiting on that 360 though.
And stay tuned, because it might be happening later on in this game. As Holland, that's one of their strengths. They're so good at getting out, and they love to run, and that's what we've seen. When these two teams played, it was a high tempo, fast-paced game, and Crandall was able to keep up with them, but there's not many teams in this league that can. And when Holland heads, if they do head to CCAAs, they will find other teams that will be able to compete with that, have that speed, have that ability, athletic ability, and size. So they're going to have to be very disciplined if they do head to CCAAs if they want to win.
And it is their size that is one of their strengths, their ability to finish around the rim. But when you can start a starting lineup in ACAA basketball that the average height, I dare say, is around 6'5".
Yep.
That's a dangerous lineup. Most teams in this league are lucky to have one 6'5" player. Bowden can't finish. Watson into the open court. He can't finish though. And Wiley looked like he traveled again, but last touch by Hassan Maidal. 11 seconds, shot clock off. Hurricanes knocked away by David.
Good job by David.
This will make the Hurricanes' life a little more difficult. Dawkins drives in, dishes to Wiley, can't finish. And David, not sure if it would have been good if it went, but 20-point Hurricanes lead going into the halftime. Lars, what sort of adjustments will the Chargers have to make if they hope to come back into this game?
Well, it's going to be very, very, very tough for Crandall to come back in this game, but it's not, MSU didn't win yesterday, but they definitely did a great job in coming back in this game. They chipped away at the lead, and it all started in the third quarter. So if you're Crandall, you got to come out in the third quarter with a very good start, and that starts at the defensive end and boxing out.
So for Lars Moffat, I'm Josh Fleck. We'll take a quick break and rejoin you for the second half of this game. And we are back for second half action here at the Langell Athletic Center. Crandall facing a 20-point deficit, down 47-27 after 2 quarters of play. Balanced attack in the first half from the Holland College Hurricanes, featuring some Showtime dunks if you were watching. Josh Fleck here with Lars Moffat. Lars, looking at the stat sheet right now, what do you see on there, Lars?
Well, shout out to Trey David. He's having a great game so far. 13 points on a 4 of 11 shooting. And Brandon Fields, who's only, is their leading scorer, had a great game when last time they played, and he's only has 2 points right now. So they'll look to get Brandon Fields going early. And on the flip side, Wiley Roosevelt, 14 points, and Marcus Dawkins with 10 for Holland College.
Maury Watson on the drive, met at the peak by Jace Colley, and a foul is called. A very late call there. Jace Colley, I believe that is his 3rd early in this second half.
If that does go on Jace Colley, that's actually going to be his 4th.
His 4th, sorry.
He had 3 at the half.
Putting head coach Josh Whitty in a not quite precarious position, as he still has Chase Bowden, a big man, and Roosevelt Wiley, another big.
And don't forget about Marcus Dawkins as well, who also has some size. But Maury Watson, as he is at the line, he had 8 rebounds at the half. And so did Hassan Ahmed Dal, had 9. So those are the 2 that have been doing all the rebounding, and rightfully so. Those are the 2 biggest players on the most physical on Crandall.
Watson couldn't get it to go. Bowden in the corner to Kaei, and he is good. And without missing a beat, this Holland College Hurricanes team back to scoring. David had his jump shot blocked by Dawkins, leaks out into the front court. And Kaei with the follow-up dunk. Puts it back. Watson goes right at Wiley, and he finishes high.
Nice job by Maury Watson just to keep getting to the rim.
And there's the showtime again from Holland College, as that was quite a putback dunk by Michael Kaei. He goes right back in. Can't finish with the left. MBBALL gets his 10th rebound of the game. Watson gets it to Fields. Back to Watson. Pulls back out. Mid-range jump shot. Banks it home. Jalen King now for the Holland College Hurricanes.
That was a tough shot there from Maury Watson, as Wiley Roosevelt was deep in his face.
Bowden with the rebound on the backside. Bowden clear path. Extra pass to Kaei. Finishes through the contact. Fields up to Maxwell. Watson goes right at Wiley. Can't finish. Dawkins up to King. Can't finish. Knocked out by MBBALL. Fields over to David for 3. Can't get it to fall, but there's Fields. Back to David. Still can't finish. Bowden with the rebound this time. Kaei slows it down. King working on David. Great footwork by Rondell. Skip past Kaei. King squares up for 3. Just a little long. Dan Maxwell with the rebound. Hands it to Fields. Fields controlling the pace. Spots Watson on the drive. And he rolls it in with the left hand. Right down the middle of the lane. Fields spotted his brother on the cut. And he finishes with the left hand. Bowden in the middle. Shot altered due to the defense of Watson. And what a finish there by Roosevelt Wiley. Watson controlling the pace now, asking for a MBBALL screen. Goes into the left hand, stripped by Wiley. Dawkins, Showtime backboard pass. Soft layup by Roosevelt Wiley. And a quick timeout by Jonathan Spirits. And as we expected, Holland College out and running up to a 25-point lead 3.5 minutes into this second half.
And it's just so hard to guard, especially when you have someone running the floor so long and can reach for anything. And frankly, what can really Crandall do? It's other than getting back, they're making it very tough for them. And several possessions that we've already seen so far. It's been a fast-paced game so far with 6:25 to go left in the third quarter. They're getting down the court, getting up with the layup within 3 seconds in the shot clock.
And that is one thing you have to be worried about with this Holland College Hurricanes team. Very fast, very athletic, very big. And at this stage of the game, 25 points down, the Crandall Chargers find themselves. Do they have what it takes to come back, Lars?
I hate to be that guy, but I can honestly say no. And the reason is, although I want to be the guy who gives you hope and say this team can come back, they just don't have the firepower that Holland does. And every time that Crandall makes a punch, and I'd love for them to prove me wrong, Holland is just too good.
Holland is a powerhouse. Coming into this tournament, the number 2 ranked team in the country, having a record of 20-1. That one loss coming at the hands of this Crandall Chargers team. And when they have everybody firing on all cylinders the way they do today, they are one of the most dangerous in the country. Fields with the ball. Calvert into the game now, as is Josh Bokma. Fields, step back jumper blocked by Dawkins. And Dawkins is called for the foul afterwards. And Fields and Dawkins get together on the sideline. Exchange a few words. Fields will shoot 2. Dawkins got the ball cleanly, but he continued through and got him with the body. And the ever-animated Marcus Dawkins displeased with that, and Fields continues his struggles.
Well, and even if you're not going to call it a shooting foul, it's definitely a foul on its own. You're jumping into the guy, landing on him. Just go straight up.
Just a dangerous play as well, as Fields again misses. Dawkins in the corner, goes right in attack mode, draws the foul. And he had that look in his eye as soon as he caught that ball that he was going to go to the rim and see if he'd draw the foul on the other end.
And hey, good move on him. Great job getting to the middle. And once again, what we talk about. Holland College is so good at just pushing that basketball. And within 3 seconds, there's a foul. And they're going line shoot 2.
Drops the first. And Dawkins is good on the second. Fields up to Bokma, can't handle the pass. Turnover. Holland College now up 27. 6:02 left in the third quarter. Jalen King now carrying the ball. Met there by Rondell David. Bowden screen. What a move there by King as he finishes. Fields pushing the tempo. Calvert will get a clean look for 3. Off the right side of the rim. Roosevelt Wiley knocks it to Bowden. Cross court to Dawkins. Flipped up to Wiley, and this Hurricanes team might be getting a little too cute for their own good here.
And just like that, it's a 31-point game.
Bokma on the wing. Watson at the elbow. Watson can't finish. And frustration on the face of the Chargers on the court right now. King to a cutting Wiley. And he finishes. Seems the Chargers just don't have any answers. And head coach Jonathan Spirit shakes his head and turns to his assistant coach to see if he has anything that might turn the tide here. Fields hands it off to Watson, step back, waits for Dawkins to pass.
A nice patience there by Embori Watson.
Down.
And Embori Watson has been the only player in this quarter that has scored, and he has 8 points.
Kaye launches a 3. Little long. Watson comes away with the rebound. And we'll see if he can get something going. Pulls up again, short. Calvert knocks it out, last touched by the Hurricanes. All smiles for the Hurricanes right now, but on the flip side of the ball, Chargers pressing now.
And you can just see it in the Chargers bench. In comparison to Holland, Holland's getting up, getting everybody excited, giving high fives. All smiles, like you said, and Crandall's bench is just flat. They look defeated.
Bokma hounded by Connor Tarian. And Watson goes in, and Bowden gets called for the foul as he brought the hands down on him.
And if you're going to go up, you just got to go up straight. And his body was straight, but his arms were over top.
And that's where the foul came from. Watson, among the Chargers who are struggling from the free throw line, gets that one to fall.
And that's been a story too for Crandall. Is Brandon Fields also went to the line, missed both of his. And they were 4 for 10 going into the half. So now they're 5 for 13.
Watson can't get that one to go. Bokma fights for the rebound and he gets it. Kicks it to Trey David, who launches away off the side of the rim, but Watson's there. Sizing up Bowden, and he puts up a shot. Rattles around, can't get it to go. And if the Chargers are looking to make a comeback here, they're going to need those shots to fall. Lefebvre into the lane. Bowden gets a look, pulls it back. Lefebvre, extra pass to Tarian, back to Lefebvre. Little two-man game here. Great defense there by Bokma. Knocks it away from Roosevelt Wiley. Here comes Fields, right in.
Wow.
What a shot from Fields.
And
He took the contact, faded away, and knocked it down.
And if you watch Fields, he was watching the second defender there as he was bringing up that basketball. The moment the guy turned his head, he was taking it to the rim.
Watson away with the steal now. Draws the defenders, goes right up Bowden, and Bowden gets the block. Calvert fights for the ball. Hurricanes have numbers. King kicks it out to Lefebvre, and he didn't like what he saw, slows it down, swings to Tarian, down low to Wiley. Bokma looked to take the charge. Last touch by Bokma.
And I think that's a great no call there. Wally Roosevelt is not being physical at all. He's just a huge man. That's an easy bounce off there. Roosevelt Wiley, sorry, I've been calling him backwards the whole time.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Kyle Lefebvre knocks it down. Everyone's getting involved for the Hurricanes. Fields right down the lane, met by King. Scoops with the left hand and finishes through contact.
And here we go. We got Brandon Fields. A couple buckets now. Let's see if he can get in rhythm. If they can cut this lead to maybe even 18, 19 points going into the fourth, it's still doable. It's going to be very tough, though.
And Fields continues with his mid-range struggle. Lefebvre going right at Bokma, right past, right at Calvert, and he finishes. Fields seeing if he can get something going with the offense. Backing down King, gets it to Maidal. Mid-range jumper, spills in and out. Lefebvre into the open court. Met by Bokma. And Bokma will get called for the foul. Connor Tarian on the baseline to trigger for the Holland College Hurricanes, up 31. Chinimayok on the baseline, met at the peak by Bokma. What a block by Bokma. And it'll go to the Chargers.
Shout out to Bokma today. He's very undersized in several of these matchups he's had to do, but he's very physical and he's getting his hand in just to strip that basketball.
They have him listed at 6'3" on the official score sheet, but I think he's small, and that is Dan Maxwell steps into the mid-range game. Kostakis now for the Hurricanes, gets it to Bowden, back to Kostakis. Launches a three, off the front of the rim, and Hadrovic rips it through Bowden. Fields up to Bokma. Just a little off. Tarian, good work to get it to Kostakis. Pulls away, spins to the baseline. Contact, last touch by Maidal. Wiley back into the game. Bowden will grab a seat. Hurricanes looking to extend their lead. Kyle Lefebvre working on Maxwell. Looking to go down low to Wiley. It's Mayock up top, goes right at Hadrovic and finishes with the left hand. Hurricanes proving to be too much for the Chargers today. Maxwell, handoff from Fields, uses the Maidal screen, launches away, too strong. Lefebvre rebounds, gets into the open court, finds Kostakis. Baseline jump shot, too strong, Maidal gets it. Kostakis fights for the rebound. Maxwell, stolen by Wiley. Great defense there from Maxwell. Tarian wide open for three, and he hits it.
And what can we say? Holland College is just too good of a basketball team, and this is a very tough matchup for Crandall.
And it's to be noted that Jace Cawley has barely played this third quarter, and that has not affected the Hurricanes at all, as Mehmet Hadrovic, the 6'10" forward, steps into a three.
And banks it home.
Great defense there by Fields. Connor Tarian and Hassan Maidal get involved in it after the play. Tarian was looking to take a shot after the whistle, and as per basketball etiquette, that's a no-no. Maidal was going to go block the shot, and Tarian, maybe with a little bit of little man syndrome, didn't like that. Either way, 76-45, Hurricanes with a very, very comfortable lead going into the final 10 minutes of play. Lars, what can we expect from the final 10?
Well, it's going to be very tough for Crandall to come back here down 31 points. That means that they're scoring basically, well, two-thirds of what they have right now and what they've given in. Well, and if you have 45 points right now, I'm saying you got to score another 30 when you haven't scored a very large amount so far. So it's going to be very tough going forward, but they need to put the pedal to metal and score quite a few in these first couple of minutes. And, I mean, at this point, you could gamble because, you know, you're down 31. What else you got to lose?
There's nothing to lose at this stage of the game for them, and we'll see at what point head coach Josh Whitty puts in maybe some of the players who haven't seen a lot of championship action during this weekend.
And some statistics update here for you. Wiley Roosevelt with you. 12 rebounds, 20 points. Wiley, sorry. It's been a long weekend, my apologies. 20 points, 12 rebounds. Marcus Dawkins, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And Michael Cady, 12 points, 2 rebounds and assists. And on the other side, Ambori Watson leads the way with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Hassan Maidal is now up to 10 rebounds with 4 points, and Trey David has 13 as well.
Hurricanes will inbound the ball. Up 31 with 10 minutes left to play. Chargers come out with Bokma, Watson, Hadrovic, Maxwell, and David. Kyle Lefebvre now for the Hurricanes. As outside of Wiley, this is the second unit here. Kostakis down to Lefebvre. Great pass to Wiley, who finishes down low. What a pass from Lefebvre. Maxwell in now, hands off to David. Lefebvre knocks the ball away. Watson gets it. And he is met at the peak by Wiley. And Wiley is the first one there to help Watson up.
Great sportsmanship there.
He went down hard. And we'll see if Watson can find it from the free throw line.
And that's been one of their struggles here today. And
between Fields and Watson, there have been a few missed free throws today.
And one thing we've talked about is, free throws are free. No one's guarding you. And, it can be a tough night when you don't make them. And right now, they're 5 for 18 for the night.
Watson misses that first one. And the second. Bokma again, though, with the rebound. Watson looking to go to work. Down to Hadrovic. Spins off Mayock. And looks to be a lot of contact there, but all ball. Chargers will have 6 seconds left in the shot clock. Hadrovic to Maxwell. Back to Hadrovic. Fumbles. Maxwell launches a prayer, and it is answered! Some full court pressure now from the Crandall Chargers. Maxwell meets Kyle Lefebvre. Antonio Kostakis steps around the screen. Mayock goes right at Hadrovic. And Wiley is just a force down low. Can't get it to go. He is still going to work as he knocks down the reverse layup.
My, oh my, it's very hard to defend that man. So big, so strong.
Maxwell, mid-range jump shot is pure. Nice smooth stroke from Dan Maxwell. 5'10" guard in his third year from hometown Moncton. Lefebvre to Wiley. Can't get the dunk to go. Mayock knocks the ball away. And he goes in too strong, but again there's Wiley. And Wiley is just padding his stats right now.
And he makes it tough. Like I said, it's so hard to guard him. He's so physical. He has a nice sense for where the ball is going to go off the rebound as well. He's just a vacuum when it comes to rebounding.
And there's a reason that he was one of several Holland College players named to the ACAA team. All ACAA, I should say. First team. Him, Marcus Dawkins, and Jace Cawley, all first team, all ACAA. Jace Cawley as well, Rookie of the Year. He's bought himself some spare time on the bench due to foul trouble. Cawley has. Wiley knocks down his free throws. Fields wrapped up there by Lefebvre. Interesting no call. Ball knocked away by Wiley. Maxwell behind the back pass to Fields. Mid-range jump shot, no good. Lefebvre comes away with it. Spots Antonio Kostakis, great fake. Steps in, short on the jump shot. Mumba Watson comes away with it. And Lefebvre, intentional foul, I believe that's going to be called.
And hey, if you're Coach Whitty, I don't think he's too happy about that call. But
well, there wasn't a play on the ball by Lefebvre, so kind of forced the official's hand to call that the intentional foul.
But I mean, hey, you're up 31 points. Not the end of the world.
And with the way that the Chargers have been hitting free throws, it's not the worst idea to put them on the line today.
And another thing to point out, too, as well, this is Holland College's second game, and it was a very close one yesterday versus MSVU, and shout out to them. They did a great job competing, staying in that game, making it very competitive. Frankly, amazing to watch. but this is Crandall's third game in this weekend, and for the most part, all ACAA weekends are only 2 games, right? So getting into that third game, especially when all these are tight, and a lot of energy and everyone's playing their hardest just to get a win, that can drain on you, and frankly, that's why they just seem flat today.
Outlet. Kostakis switches hands in midair, and what a finish. Maxwell now sizing up Tarian. Drives in, and he finishes high off glass. What a finish from Dan Maxwell.
And Dan Maxwell's been a nice little spark here.
Mike Kaye going right at Fields. Kostakis going to work now. Seeing some extra minutes he is in this big lead. David, quick trigger. Just a little long. Down into the hands of Fields. Back out to Maxwell. What a pass by Mike Dahl. How did he see Rondell David there? Ball fell right into his hands. Quick behind the back. Watson with the steal. It's right at Kaye, behind the back. Out to David. Waits, pulls. No good.
Rondell David's struggled in the second half. Hasn't been able to find his stroke.
And very streaky shooter he is. But when he's on, he's on. Tarian with the crafty reverse layup. And we'll see the Hurricanes Twin Towers back into the game. Colley and Bowden. Maidal can't finish through the contact. Fouled by Mayock, and they exchange some words on the baseline. Maidal will go to the line to shoot 2. Tarian holding his knee and grimacing in pain. Hope he's okay. He'll sub out of the game. Timeout by the Chargers with 5:43 left in this game. 31-point lead for the Holland College Hurricanes. Lars and I will take a quick break, and we'll rejoin you for the remainder of this game. We are back following the Crandall timeout. Hassan Maidal will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. His team trailing by 31 points, 87-56, as this powerhouse Hurricanes team has imposed their will throughout the entirety of this game. Chase Colley back into the game. 4 fouls for him, so Maidal knocks it home. Leading scorer on the regular season, Hassan Maidal. Second team All-ACAA. Short on the second free throw. Jalen King now handling the ball. Get to the Bowden up top, back to King. Dawkins wants the ball on a mismatch down low with Rondell David. Colley double team. King will launch from distance. And it is good.
All smiles, all things going good for Holland.
And that has been the story of their game so far, as not much has gone wrong for them. David in attack mode, right at Bowden, can't finish. Colley with the rebound, strong with it. Up to Kaye. Spots King again for 3. In and out. But there's Kaei, who has a putback jam this game. Spots Bowden for the layup and the foul. Foul on Hassan Maidal.
And one thing that we haven't really talked about too much as well is how great Holland College cuts without the basketball and moves. And that's one of their strengths, you know. Everyone else is watching the ball, and you see one Holland College player who's so long cutting through the key. It's an easy pass for them, and has resulted in a lot of easy buckets.
And we're going to see some bench minutes here for number 15 for the Crandall Chargers, Nahum Collicott. Josh Bokmo into the game, and Mitch Weber in as well for his first action today. Bowden can't get it to go, and Jalen King comes away with the rebound, and the only rebounder in there for the Hurricanes. Pauly will launch a three now. Can't get it to go. Bokmo with the rebound, gets it to David. As the Hurricanes will match some bench minutes as well. Greg Monroe, not of the Boston Celtics, but of the Holland College Hurricanes, and I haven't seen the number of the other player yet. Number 14, Seamus McLean will be in the game as well. David launches away and he banks it home. Chase Bowden gives him a sly grin, and Cawley in for an uncontested dunk.
And once again, nice little pistol pass down the court. Quick dunk for them.
And it's just about all wrapped up here. Final 4 minutes. Dawkins goes for the steal. David launches away off the front rim. King up top again. Kaei. He dunks. And it looks as though the Hurricanes are content with just leaking out and getting the open dunks. King will fire away. Collicott can't come with the rebound. Bowden finishes. Watson carrying the ball now. Watson loses the handle. Maxwell, Fields, and Maidal into the game now as Tarian, Kostakis, McLean, and Monroe are checking in for the Hurricanes. As they can almost sense it as you hear the Hurricane faithful cheering on some of their starters leaving the game.
Never right for applause today. They have played so well.
This entire season, not just today.
Absolutely. And we even talked about it yesterday when MSVU played Holland College. You know, this Holland team is just so good that you need to be perfect every game in order to beat them.
And Watson dribbles off the foot of Bowden. Monroe will go to work. Kostakis looking to finish. And we'll see how much heart the Chargers have as Watson comes away with the steal. Goes right at Bowden, can't finish. Tarian looking to go to work. Gets into McLean, over to Bowden. And Watson with a slow step. He's slow to get back. Tarian skips it to Kostakis. Uses the Monroe screen. Hangs in the air. Can't get it to go. Great fight by Monroe, but Maidal comes away with it. Fifth-year forward for Crandall. Him as well as Mbori Watson in their final year of eligibility. Great pass there by Fields, and Maxwell finishes on the reverse.
Nice look there from Brandon Fields. That's one thing that he is for sure, and that's a great passer.
Tarian gets past Field, and not to be outdone, has a slick pass of his own. Monroe couldn't handle. Maxwell to Maidal as it's all quiet here now. Maxwell will fire away. Can't get it to fall. Tarian controlling the play, gets it up. Knocked out of bounds by Rondell David. Josh Boakman will check in. Timeout for the Chargers. 1:19 left in the game, down 34 points.
And Holland College will advance to the CCAA Championships that will be held in a couple weeks. And they will be, for my assumption, they will be a very high seed going into that.
And not necessarily just because they're the second-ranked team in the country. That doesn't necessarily mean they will be the second-ranked team there.
But based on...
There's absolutely no reason they shouldn't be top 3, though, going into the tournament.
No, and that's absolutely right. With their record, with the way that they play, their offensive scoring, their blowouts throughout the season, and their strong play throughout the playoffs, you know, there's absolutely no reason why they should be one of the top seeds.
And this is certainly a statement that they're making with the tournament looming around the corner. And I'm sure they'll have something drawn up here to maybe hit 100 and give their fans something to cheer about, crossing the bridge back home.
And for all of you that have tuned in throughout the weekend, it has been a pleasure, myself and Josh Fleck with me. And we also had Scott Skiles with us throughout Friday, Saturday, and he did an excellent job. So if he's listening, shout out to him. Thank you very much for being the master and teaching us a few tricks when it comes to commentating.
And thank you to our entire broadcast team. Bell, ACAATV.ca.
And all the individuals who have made this event possible. It's been wonderful. And you know, we'd also like to say thank you to all the fans who have come out every game. It's been a lot of energy. It's been a lot of fun covering these games.
Tarian gets past Watson to Stakis. Skip pass picked off by Watson. And he tried to get in on the dunk contest but couldn't finish. Kostakis from downtown. Seamus McLean has it bounce out of his arms. Fields in the final 55 seconds of his season. Watson and MBBALL, the final minute of their collegiate careers. Great pass by Watson to Maxwell, has it spill out. Monroe with the rebound, gets it to Tarian. And they'll milk the clock here as he skips it over to Kostakis. Net by Fields. 12 seconds on the shot clock, 28 in the game. Kostakis right to the rim, and he finishes. MBBALL gets it. And we have 20 seconds left in the game. Slight difference between shot clock and game clock. And I believe MBBALL will just dribble it out and be content with letting the game end. (100-64). The final score will end here as the Holland College Hurricanes take care of business in Truro, winning themselves an ACAA men's basketball banner.
Well deserved for them today.
And that was nothing but pure domination from start to finish.
And that's what you want with a championship team, and they've shown why they were 20-1 throughout the season. They played 40 minutes of great basketball.
Good luck to them as they will travel to the CCAA Championships in a couple weeks, as Lars mentioned earlier in the fourth quarter.
And congratulations as well to Mount St. Vincent Mystics on the women's side that will go. As
well as the Mount Allison University Mounties as they won the ACAA banner earlier.
Which was, by the way, a very exciting game as that went to overtime. And right now we're just have everyone shaking hands between the two sides.
And we will hand out the medals and banner and award player of the game for each team. So thank you again for tuning in for the entire weekend. Josh Fleck, Lars Moffat, Scott Squires, who, as Lars mentioned before, is doing the Moncton Miracle game. Holland College, you can hear the fans cheering them on as they get another banner for their gym. Be interesting to see the players of the game. I'm going to say for the Crandall Chargers, Dan Maxwell, perhaps. Be Be nice to see Hassan Maidal win it in his final game as a Charger.
Or you could see Boy Watson, who has been a force on the boards and was really the only person who could score in the third quarter.
And on the flip side, who do you give it to for the Hurricanes?
Well, there's a handful of people that you can hand it to, and, you know, Roosevelt Wiley was a force.
An absolute monster in the paint for the Hurricanes. Momentarily, we will have the awarding of the player of the game.
Presenting the awards today are the Executive Director of the ACAA, Ron O'Flaherty, and Judy Smith, the Athletic Director.
Ron O'Flaherty, the Associate Director of the ACAA, as well as Judy Smith, Athletic Director here at Dow Agricultural College. Player of the game is number 7, Rondell David. He goes up to grab his hat, handshakes from his team and coaching staff.
Congratulations, Rondell David. He knew it was a spark in the second quarter, and kind of, as they were down 28, 29, 30, he was a spark to kind of bring them back in that game around 20 points.
And we'll see who gets it for the Holland College Hurricanes momentarily. Some loving handshakes through the lineup there. David and Bowden exchange a little jest. And Marcus Dawkins wins it for the Holland College Hurricanes. Goes up to receive the award. Handshakes all around. He gives it to Roosevelt Wiley, who he feels was the player of the game. Goes over, handshakes for the Chargers. And they start to hand out the awards. So for Lars Moffat, Scott Squires, Drew DeMokas, and the rest of our production team, we'd like to thank you for tuning in for the entire weekend. And we'll see you again next season.
James Hall.